Hello, welcome to episode 20 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits, and show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. I'm so excited, it's episode 20. It seems like such a huge number. So thank you so much to everyone who's been encouraging and watched any of the last 20 episodes and sent me messages of encouragement and support and things. It's just been so lovely. It was such a nerve-wracking thing to start this podcast, but I'm just beyond thrilled that I did, because I've met such kind people and it's just been such a pleasure. So thank you for making it such a pleasure. So I was thinking after my last episode that I needed to start having an errata section in my podcast, because it seems like every time I realise that I've said something completely wrong. Last episode I said that Easy Knits hadn't been to Unravel before. They've been every single year. It struck me as I was laying down to go to sleep that night. This time they were in a different place, and I think that's why I thought that they hadn't been there before. So yeah, there may be a new errata section in the podcast. So today I have some works in progress to show you, some spinning, some lovely things. I'll announce the little along prizes, and I wanted to mention the cup cozy swap. I'm going to set up a thread for that this week, so keep an eye out on the boards, because I'll be setting that up and we'll get that started, which is really exciting. I hope you've had a really lovely week, or few days since I saw you last. I have got back to filming on a Monday, so let's hope that this can be the start of a new routine. Are you a good boy, Bobbin? Bobbin had another terrible weekend. We were looking after the dog again, and he just doesn't appreciate that, do you? Awful for you, having to share your toys and space. It's such a difficult life he lives, don't you? So let's get into works in progress. So my first work in progress, in my fat squirrel bag, you good boy, so good, is my Water Lily by Megan Fernandez. And it's just got, oh hi, you good? You gonna lie down or something? Give him a little treat, see if that settles him. You gonna lie down? Good boy. So it's grown a little bit. I'm still finding the untidy stitches extremely disconcerting, but I'm almost certain that they'll block out. But yeah, it does look very untidy. I haven't measured how long I've knit, but I know I've got a way to go, so just carry on going. And Mum's been knitting a few rows on it as well while she's been over, and yeah, so that's been good. I'm knitting it on my High Sharps 3.75mm, which is a US 5, and these are some fixed circulars, and I love them. They're just my all-time favourite needles. And I'm knitting that in the Drops Baby Alpaca Silk in a lovely sage green colour, which will not show up accurately on the camera, but it's lovely sage green, colour 7402. So yeah, that's coming along slowly. My next work in progress in my little cat bag are David socks. I'm really enjoying these. They're so much fun. This is in the yarn from Nicole C. Mendez on Etsy. And I've put the heels in now. So they've got a little bit more done. I did a fish lips kiss heel because I like that heel when I don't want to interrupt the stripes, because it keeps them all looking exactly the same. And that one's at about the same stage. And I hadn't intentionally done it, but I've noticed that the grey and the red around the heel, I don't know if I'll be able to hold it so you can see it, are reversed. So I quite like that the red's on top of this one and the grey's on top of this one. The red's at the bottom of this one and the grey's at the bottom of this one. Quite like how that turned out. I didn't do that intentionally, but I'm quite pleased with that. I'm knitting these on my Higher Sharps DPNs 2.25mm needles. Very, very pleasant project. Really lovely yarn, lovely needles. This heel actually was a little mini skein that I had from the Wool Barn. I just thought the colours went really well with the stripy colours in the stripes. So I was really pleased to find that. And yeah, they're just chugging along as well. Mum and I went to our local yarn shop on Friday, which was very fun, and I bought a few things which I'll show you in Lovely Things, but one of them was this yarn, Rowan Alpaca Colour. It's 100% baby well, 100% alpaca, and it says made with baby alpaca, so I assume it's a blend of baby and non-baby alpaca. But it's very lovely, very soft. It's a singles, so it's very squishy. And Mum said that she would like a shawl for her to use when she's meditating. So a nice big cosy shawl. And she really liked my campside, so I'm going to knit her a campside out of this. So it hasn't got very far yet. I think I'm just ready to start the first two charts now. I'm knitting these on my Higher Sharps Interchangeables 4.5mm, and this is probably the worst yarn to use for this project, knowing what I know about how I knit this project, because I don't know if you remember my campsite that I finished a few weeks ago. I knit that in a lovely superfine alpaca and Blueface Leicester blend, but that was applied yarn, so it was fine with being ripped out and reknit. This is a singles, and I don't think it's going to be pleased with me if I have to rip it out. I'm having to be quite careful. He's just spotted something out in the garden. I don't know if you can see his ears on alert. What have you seen? Is it pigeons? Good boy. Yeah, so I'm also having to be really careful with the yarn not splitting, because it's quite a loosely spun singles. I don't know if you can see. Probably won't focus on it. But yeah, risky choice. So we'll see how that goes. It might just be that Mum's has to have a few design elements, we'll call them. Because yeah, I really don't think it's going to like being ripped back and reknit again. But that's just got cast on, and that's living in my big fondant fibre bag, which I really love. And that's The Campside by Alicia Plummer. So my last work in progress, just have a sip of coffee. I think this pattern might have just got released yesterday. I've been seeing little sneak peeks of it on Instagram. I just couldn't resist casting it on. You good boy. So, there's some huge feet. And some little arms that are going to be a bonbon by Susan Claudino. It's the cutest pattern. It's a little bunny and it's just adorable. These huge feet, huge floppy ears, big head, and yeah, completely cute. So I couldn't resist casting that on. I'm knitting it in some hand spun. I can't remember when I spun this, a while back, but it's a 3-ply. I spun each of the plies on my drop spindle and then I plied them on my wheel. And I can't quite remember what the blend of this is. I think 1 ply was a lovely bat that I got from Felt Studio UK, which had alpaca and Firestar and some sort of wool. It's really super soft, fluffy bat. It was really lovely to use. And I think the other 2 plies are just some merino or Blueface Leicester that I dyed this purple colour. I don't think I added any sparkles, so I think that's all from the bat, but it's a very sparkly yarn, which probably won't show up, but never mind. I think this is the largest project that I've spun on a spindle. I think it might have been my first true 3-ply, I'm not sure. But that's just been in my stash, and I really wanted to knit this bunny in some pink tweed, really pastel pink tweed. I didn't have that. So, although I did go online just to check if there was any pink tweed that I'd like to use for it, I thought, no, I'll use some yarn from my stash, which I'm quite pleased about. That's not my usual reaction, so pat on the back for me. So yeah, I can't wait until this little bunny's finished. I think it'll be quite a quick knit. I started it not long before we went to bed last night and I've got some extremities finished, so hopefully it won't be too long. I'm knitting that with magic loop on my higher sharps fixed circulars. These are 2.75mm. I quite like knitting toys on magic loop because they're quite fiddly, and having lots of needles is a bit more cumbersome when you're working with such a small amount of stitches, I find. So I'm enjoying using those because they're lovely and smooth and sharp, so they help you do all the increases and decreases really easily. So yes, they're my works in progress. I'm going to prepare a little video on spinning, how I spin on a drop spindle, how I make a plying ball, and how I then ply it on my wheel. But I'm going to do that separately, and I might release it separately from the podcast. So yeah, I've just got to get things in those stages, so I've got to get some ready to be plied to make into a plying ball and stuff. So yeah, that's in progress. So on to spinning. On Saturday, this is just how things go with me. I just get overwhelming urges and just have to follow them, otherwise my mind just doesn't relax. So on Saturday morning I got an urge to knit some handspun socks, and I haven't got any handspun in my stash that would work for socks, I don't think. No. I've got some that would work, but I've already knit socks out of it, so I don't want to knit the same ones twice. Anyway, so I felt like knitting some hand spun socks, and the only way that was going to happen is by spinning some yarn for socks. So I broke into a very special braid from Juno Fibre Arts. I love Juno Fibre Arts. They were one of my favourite dyers. Sadly, they're not operational anymore, but I really love everything that I've ever got from Juno Fibre Arts. So I have a couple of braids, well, one left now, and I have been saving them because I won't be able to get them again, obviously, as they're not dyeing anymore. But I thought, no, I'll just spin it. So I'm spinning it while my mind is saying, oh, don't ruin this. Oh, you mustn't ruin this. You can never get this again. So that's nice and not at all stressful. But it's such beautiful fibre. It's a superwash merino. This is a part of the braid. There are other colours in it as well. There's a green and a tomato orange. This is one of the plies that I've spun so far. And I'm trying to get relatively fine singles. I haven't done very much spinning on my wheel for a little while, so I'm not being too prescriptive in what I plan to achieve. I just am spinning it how it seems to want to be spun. So yes, this is one ply. I've got another ply in progress on the wheel, and this is going to be the third ply because I'm going to try for a 3-ply. We'll see how that goes. But I'm very excited about having these socks. I think they'll be fun as socks. Super colourful. But I didn't... Sometimes when these things come and overtake me, I don't go about them in the most sensible way, because I'm not doing any colour management on this. I'm just spinning it as it happens. And usually if I'm doing a 3-ply or a 2-ply, I will split the braid, weigh it, so that I know that each of the 3 or 2, each of the amounts is the same, so that it will hopefully give me approximately the same length on each bobbin. Never works out perfectly, but if I can measure it, then I'm at least doing all I can to help it be even. But not this time. I just took the braid like this, like unbraided it, and then I made it into 3 sort of semi-even lines, and then I just ripped there, and where the other bit would be a third. Didn't weigh it, so who knows? One of the lumps feels a bit larger than the others. It also means, and sometimes, this ply won't have any green or any of that tomato orange, but that's fine. But yeah, I don't quite know what happened there. I'm usually a little bit more specific about how I do things, but not with this. I think I made the decision that I was going to use the braid and then just went for it before I changed my mind. But yeah, spinning this on my Woolmaker's Bliss double treadle, which I love. And I love these bobbins because they fit on quite a lot of yarn. The only thing that I would change about the wheel is, as you can see from the sort of undulations on the bobbin, the hooks on the flyer are quite far apart, so they don't load the bobbin up nice and evenly, which I would prefer. And I think if it did, then you would be able to fit even more on the bobbin. But it's fine. I have considered putting in extra hooks, but I don't want to ruin it, so I probably won't. But yeah, enjoying this spin. And I'm really looking forward to having some more hand spun socks on my needles, because they're so much fun. I don't know what sort of weight I'm going to get, probably sport weight, nearer sport weight than fingering weight, maybe up to DK, but that's fine. Just going to see what happens. So yes, that's my spinning. I've got no finished objects. Nope, no finished objects. So on to lovely things. As I mentioned, Mum and I went to our local yarn shop on Friday, which was really fun. They actually sell fabric there, and I went there specifically to get one piece of special fabric that I need to use for something, for somebody. And things just don't always turn out like that, do they? You don't always just get what you go in there for when you're in a shop that's full of other goodies. So we came away with quite bulging bags. I got the yarn that I'm knitting Mum's campsite in. And this yarn shop, it always seems to have an entire room of stuff that's on sale, which is nice. So I got the Crazy Zalba ball. I think this might be the Charisma colour. Yes, Charisma. I love Crazy Zalba balls. I think they're sort of, for me, they're almost like knitting with handspun because of the barber poling effects that they give you in the plies. 2 different plies. So I think that they're really, really fun. So that was a nice find. I also got a skein of Rowan Fine Art because I really love these colours. It's sort of a brown and a blush pink, sort of a russet colour. But this yarn is wool, mohair, polyamide and silk, mulberry silk. Merino wool, kid mohair, polyamide and mulberry silk. And I've knit Mum a pair of socks out of this and it's really, really lovely. So yeah, looking forward to knitting something else out of those. Might be socks, might not, I'm not sure yet. And I also got 2 balls of this Reggio design line. This is the Cafe Facet collection. I've knit another pair of socks out of this, but a different colourway. It was the grey with the same colour stripes, I think, just with a grey base. It's covered in fluff. But I really, really liked those. I think they're what I knit some Mystic Spiral socks in for Mum. And they just turned out really nice. And I like this yarn. It's good hard wearing yarn. So yeah, got 2 balls of those. And then I found some of this, the Reggio design line by Arne Carlos. So I had to get 2 of those as well. One for me and one for Mum. I saw these on Lena's podcast, A Wee Bit Knitty. I think she's knitting this colour actually, and they look so lovely. But I was sort of a bit so-so about them. I thought, yeah, they're lovely, they're really, really fun, but I've got pattern sock yarn that might give a similar sort of Fair Isle design. But then, I'm such a sheep, because then I saw that we could get them in this country. So I went and had a look. I just thought I'd have a look at the different colourways that they came in. And they were sold out everywhere. And that just spurred me on to wanting them more, which I don't like that about myself. But it did. That's just what happened. So when I saw them in the yarn shop, I thought, oh, I'll have to get a couple of balls. Because they do look like they would be very fun to knit. So yes. I also got this Reggio in a creamy colour. I thought that maybe I would do the heels out of that. Thought that might be quite nice. Because I do love a contrast heel. And maybe toe. We'll see. If I do that, I can get 2 pairs of socks out of each ball, which I always quite like. But yes, that happened. And I do like them actually. I am really, really pleased that I got those. They're going to be a lot of fun. It does feel finer than this Regia, which is quite interesting. I think I remember Lena mentioning that she went down in needle size to 2mm to knit these. So I might have to do the same thing. But yeah, very pleased with those. So that was a fun little outing. I love going yarn shopping with Mum because she's not a bad influence at all. She's a wonderful influence because she gets really excited with me, and yeah, we always end up coming away with more than we intended. So that was really, really fun doing that. So that's all my lovely things. On to Little Along. And I've already drawn for the prizes because there are quite a few, so I thought it would be a bit boring for you to watch as I random number generated and then tried to locate which post it was on the board. I didn't think that would be much fun to watch, so I've drawn all the prizes. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining in with the Little Along. It was so fun to see everyone's projects and see how excited people were getting about knitting little things. I just had such a lovely time with that knit along. So yeah, thank you very much for getting involved. And I'll announce the prizes. I'll just go and get them. So I put a couple of the prizes together because I thought it might be quite fun to receive a couple of things if you won. So the winner of the fondant fibre bag, excuse the crinkling, these are all in crinkly things. So this prize is the fondant fibre bag and the cute little wooden brooch with the pink spots and cupcake progress keeper from a Homespun House. And the winner of that is Clover Hill, who is Stacey from North Carolina. And she crocheted these really, really cute little cabled baby boots. They were so adorable. So get in touch with your address, Stacey, and I can get the prize sent out to you. The next prize is for the Knitting Goddess mini skeins and the little bow brooch from a Homespun House with the green dots and the little cupcake progress keeper. And they are going to Elizabeth Grace, who is Angela in Texas, and it was for her post 256, and she had knit a really, really adorable little blue bird of happiness. And I loved how you'd taken the picture of it as well, Angela. It was so cute. So yeah, get in touch with your address and I'll get that sent out to you. The post that Stacey won for was 326, if you're interested. The next prize is for one of the little tree brooches from a Homespun House and the cupcake progress keeper. Cute. And that goes to Tokyo City Girl, and that's 364. And she's in Japan, and her name is Jacqueline. And that post was these really, really cute short speckled socks. They were lovely. I love that yarn. Really nice. So get in touch, Jacqueline, with your address. And the rest of the prizes are not posty out ones. So the stitch markers of your choice went to post 121, who was Rainbow Ange, who's Angela, and she's in the UK. And she made a lovely scrap busting washcloth, which was really great. So get in touch with me, Ange. These aren't coming, or Angela, sorry. These aren't coming from me. They're coming from a very kind friend of the podcast. So if you get in touch with me, and we'll organise how that's going to work, and you can pick what kind of stitch markers you want. The pattern from Lena, the Bertine sock pattern, is going to 426, who is Yellow Bird Knits, and she knit a really cute sheep. Yellow Bird Knits is in Missouri, and I don't seem to have written down your name. I'm so sorry about that. No. But yeah, she made a really cute sheep. It was so sweet. So yeah, get in touch with Lena and we'll get the pattern sent to you. The pattern, the Drakensberg mug cozy and hat set from Sally Jane Cameron of Pink Hair Girl Knits and the Pink Hair Girl Knits podcast, went to 283, who is Kazi Nunu, who is Carol, and she's in Scotland, and she made a lovely hat and mitt set for her granddaughter, which was lovely. So yes, I'll chat with Sally Jane and we'll get that pattern sent over to you. And then we have 3 winners of patterns up to the value of $10, and they go to Tracy Chorley, and I didn't write down the post numbers for these. I thought I was being so organised. Never mind. Tracy Chorley, who is Tracy in Essex, and she knit a lovely hat for a little person out of yarn that she had knit a hat for herself in. Another of the patterns of your choice up to the value of $10 goes to Jasper's Pixie Dust, who is Alice from Texas, and she crocheted a lovely hat for charity. And the last prize is the other pattern up to the value of $10, and that goes to Thistledown, who's Teresa in the UK, and she knit the cutest little owl merit badge. It was so sweet. So congratulations to everyone who won prizes, and thank you so much to everyone for taking part, and a huge thank you to everyone who has donated prizes. That was just so wonderful, and I appreciate it so much, so thank you. One of our members suggested that we have this every year, and I thought that sounded like a great idea. So yeah, hopefully next February we'll come with another little along. So yeah, and thank you to Little Yellow Uke for hosting it with me and coming up with the great idea. It's just brilliant, so much fun. So I think that's everything for today. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will hopefully see you again on Monday. And yeah, have a lovely week. Bye.